Welcome, and thank you for allowing me to contribute to you. There's a few things I want to talk. I love this. So first of all, these are going to happen every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So they're going to be happening regularly. And this one's very entertaining for me personally, because I had a client, and this will be in the Evolutionary Gentleman series, and these are all evolutionary conversations. But I was so entertained. I had a client say, "Hey, what do I do about this woman? I'm so attracted to her. I don't even know how to approach her." I said, "Well, here's an idea. Walk up to her and say, 'I'm so attracted to you. I don't even know what to say.'" And sure, you have to be complimentary. You have to be gracious. You have to not look like you're hungry or looking for anything. But he said, "Well, what do you think about those guys, men who coach men, who say that you're giving your power away by complimenting a woman? You're giving your power away by approaching her." And I said to him, "Well, if somebody's worried about giving their power away by acknowledging somebody, then maybe they didn't have that much power in the first place." And this is the weird thing that's going on in the polarity conversation, the masculine feminine dynamics conversation. There's a bunch of very strange conversations, in my opinion, going on. And this is one of them. And this is one of the qualities of an evolutionary gentleman. So let's back up a bit. I used to see people, and we would do these exercises called withholds, right? Like something you didn't want to say. And sometimes it's a negative thing. Like there's a thing in your head where you're like, "I should say that thing. Oh, I shouldn't say that thing." And you go through a conversation in your head about not saying the thing, right? And some people call it a withhold. And I realized that most people withhold positive things. "Oh my gosh, he's got a great coat on." Or, "Oh my gosh, she looks great in those pumps." Like today in the grocery store, I called an Uber. And there was a guy that walked in, and he had a leather, I'm not big on leather, but he had a leather sport coat on, a very nice like gray vest, an incredible silver and white woven tie. And I caught him out of the corner. And I was like, "Dude, amazing outfit." Like his whole outfit was incredibly well put together. But we often hold back those things in our mind. And so when this client of mine said, "What do you think about these guys coaching other guys who say that you're giving some of your power away by acknowledging a woman? And, these women get assaulted by a lot of compliments." I'm like, "Sure. First of all, half of that's true. Absolutely. Women are constantly assaulted in our culture by men leering at them. I mean, the first time I walked down Castro near Market in San Francisco, I understood what women experience all the time. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging people. Like I acknowledge the guy at the checkout stand who was scanning my groceries tonight. Like, "Hey man, you do that really rapidly. Like, thanks for being here," etc., etc. There's nothing about giving your power away there. So it's sort of stunning to me, but this is part of the problem with masculine feminine dynamics, polarity, those conversations right now in the marketplace, is that to think that that's somehow giving your power away by acknowledging somebody. And if we want to talk about masculine and feminine, the feminine, like her desire is to shine. And you shine when you have an audience. And if you want to elevate somebody or acknowledge them in some way, you don't lose any power there unless you're interested in control. But they have to feel safe anyway before you can engage in polarity to the degree that a lot of people would really, really enjoy. And so that whole conversation to me seemed like a really low-level ego conversation. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging people. You're not giving your power away. It's such a weird thing to even think about. And so for years, my intention has been to improve, like, especially strangers. It's so easy to simply improve their state. When I go to a retail establishment, I grab their name, I ask them, if everybody's treating them okay. It doesn't. You say please, say thank you. It doesn't take any effort at all. Or acknowledge a woman. Like, there's been plenty of times where I've acknowledged a woman, like, oh my gosh, you look incredible. Like the way you are walking, the way you are in your body. Right. And so the difference between compliments, which would be like, nice dress, versus an acknowledgement, which is, I really love the way you hold yourself. You seem really confident. There's a level of depth engaged or involved in an acknowledgement. But we could acknowledge anybody at any time. Compliments are more superficial. A true acknowledgement will set you apart in that they see that you see them to a deeper level than most people see them. And the key, if you're going to use this, by the way, as an approach, and by the way, I am against all pickup artist stuff. I think it's just a misuse of unconscious technology and unconscious communication skills, and I'm against it all. But there's nothing wrong with acknowledging people, just being authentic. But let's back up again. Like, if somebody is saying that you're giving your power away, and apparently there's a lot of men coaching men that acknowledging a woman is giving your power away. And again, I'm going to circle back. Then you must not have had that much power in the first place. But really, how does it give your power away? And if you're engaged in those kind of dynamics, you're automatically engaged in an inauthentic relationship with somebody. Why would you want that? And here's the other really cool thing that a lot of people don't realize. If you have the discernment, if you have the eyes for it, you give someone an acknowledgement and you immediately get to see instantly a bunch of nonverbal reactions. So when I walk up and I give somebody acknowledgement and they react in certain ways, and there's a bunch of jokes and like, the guy's like, hey man, I'm here to support you, and she's like, I have a boyfriend. He's like, I wasn't trying to get laid or anything, but that points to something going on here. If I walk up and I say, hey, you look amazing, like the way you walk in those shoes, it's amazing. I love how you are in your body. And I start walking away. But in the next 3 seconds, I get to see if she has self-esteem issues. I can tell if she's, been sexually assaulted before. I can tell if she's got a boyfriend or not. I can tell if she's just scared or just distracted at the moment. Like, there's a bunch of things, but the key there is to not try to be getting anywhere. You're just trying to improve somebody's experience. And some people like it, some people don't. Some people think I'm weird. Actually, most people think I'm weird. But the idea that you're somehow giving your power away by acknowledging somebody is just absurd. And again, I just want to, I'd love to say this for an hour. If you think that acknowledging somebody is somehow giving your power away, then you didn't have a whole lot of power in the first place. But some of the qualities of an evolutionary gentleman, one of them is he's very generous with his acknowledgments. I love some of the men I talk to, they give me acknowledgments all the time, and I give them acknowledgments. And it's just wanting to say a thing about how somebody is. And maybe they don't hear it. Maybe they don't hear it enough, but usually they don't actually need to hear it. But sometimes they do. And the amount of intimacy you'll have almost right away, in that they feel seen. They feel seen, and you're not playing any games. It's just a thing you say, and maybe it's a fit, maybe it's not a fit. Maybe they get confronted by it. That's fine too. Just keep walking. Just move on. I can't tell you how many fun interactions I've had with people running a scanner at a retail establishment. I ask them, if everybody's treating them okay today, and then we start a conversation. I acknowledge them for a thing. I thank them. There's the idea that that's somehow giving your power away is absurd. But also, if you're engaged in some sort of dynamics where you think that's giving your power away, so you need to withhold that, you're automatically engaged in an inauthentic power dynamic where you're just playing games. And that might be fine at a certain level of ego development. That's fine. But if you want a truly authentic, deep, intimate relationship with somebody, then you should be effusive. You should be open about what you appreciate about them. You should be loving. You should be connected. And you're not losing anything. And even if you never see them again, they've gained something. They feel a little bit better about their day. And then you've improved their lives. I just think it's hilarious. I just want to thank, I'm not going to say who, obviously I can't say who it was, but I just want to thank you. And if you're listening, I hope you are. Man, like the amount of time I thought about how absurd it is to think that you're giving your power away by acknowledging somebody. I had a good 12 hours of fun about that. If we really are trying to connect with people in an authentic, deep, intimate way, then we should just be open about it, but while simultaneously being unattached with any outcome. And that's, I think, where a lot of guys go wrong. They're trying to get somewhere with a woman when they acknowledge her. Just acknowledge her for the sake of acknowledge her. Just acknowledge her for the sake of seeing her shine. But again, withholding acknowledgments for the feminine, it's almost like depriving them of food or oxygen because they want to shine. And you can just tell when you acknowledge a woman, she flushes, she radiates, she gets a little more feminine, she wiggles a little bit. And those are the things you really want. Don't withhold that from her. It's almost cruel. People are weird, aren't they? Anyway, it came to my attention that people don't know I do NLP trainings. I'm doing one more. So I'm just going to give a quick pitch. If you say the word silver, you'll get a 50% discount for the NLP training coming up in May. But you have to mention the word silver. And it's a very long training. It's a very deep training. It's the last one I'll be doing. Anyway, for the most part, I'm getting the practice of doing these live streams every Tuesday at the same time, 4:30 Pacific. If you, one more thing. Oh, that's right. So a lot of you, some of these men have blocked me, but a lot of you are probably on the same. You see a lot of streams from or posts from guys that they say weird shit, and you're like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense to me. Please send me screenshots of that because I will use it to create content just like this one. So it's helpful to me. I won't mention them. I don't want to disparage anybody. We're on our own path. And a lot of people need people at different stages of their development. So it's fine. For some people, those guys will be, but if you could message me privately with screenshots of posts that you're like, this feels off, Jason, what do you think about this? I would be grateful for that. I wish you all well on your path. We are all on our path. And I am certainly in evolution. And thank you for allowing me to be of service to you for these 15 minutes. And I will speak with you very soon.